I'm going, what day is it? It is Thursday. It's the 18th. December 18th, people. I'll be the town crier. Christmas is here. No. I took all my pressure off or I'd be freaking out probably, I was having some meltdowns. Not really. I'm a perfectionist and I get caught up in details and I need input. And when it's a surprise, you're not supposed to have input. And that was too much for me right there. This is Lou. I already told you the date. I don't know if I said 2025. Won't be long and we'll be into 2026. Oh my Lord. I went and had my treatment today. Or the shots, the ones they put in my butt. It's one shot, 2 needles, and they're huge needles. The person giving you the shot don't like giving it because it's such a big needle. But it really, the lady who did it today did not hurt me. I mean, I felt it, but it wasn't horrible. I have had it where it felt like it was being stabbed. And I've had it hurt going in. I mean, the medicine going in, they're supposed to take a minute to put that medicine in. But the lady today, I told her she could have a gold star. I said, give yourself a gold star because you did very well. But I've had it there where I was not. I mean, when I'm in pain, I have a problem. I let it be known. And I swear to God, it was like someone was throwing a dart. Have you ever thrown darts and you put that little oomph in it? Well, that's what it felt like. And then they weren't getting it in. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe it was theirs for not helping to make sure that I relax that leg. I don't know. You're supposed to relax the leg of the butt cheek that it's going into so it's not all tight. But anyway, the girl did good. I mean, I've had a few different ones that did good, but I've had a few that were not. So this morning before I went in there, I'm going, I wonder, is that going to hurt today? But you just got to not worry about it, I guess. I should worry about some things, like there's still those things to worry about. But my cancer numbers, and she called them tumor markers today. So we'll say not cancer, we'll say tumor markers. They went ahead and drew blood while I was there because I didn't go do labs. They haven't been telling me to go. And she told me today, you have a standing order every month to get that done. In other words, I can go and have it done without her having to redo it. But they've changed hands and things are different. And, I mean, they didn't call to confirm, and I didn't know if I had an appointment. I had received a thing saying I had an appointment, In other words, last time I was in there, they printed off a schedule and told me. So anyway, they've changed hands somehow, either a merger or just changed hands. And I believe, I almost want to say Good Sam, but I could be getting that confused. There's a lot of Good Sam, I think, in, I don't know, I've been everywhere. If it's Tacoma or if it's in Kennewick. Kennewick is Cadillac. Their hospital chain, one of them. Banner's everywhere, Banner Help. But I didn't go to them, I don't believe. Anyway, and then I was over in Tacoma area. I was going to a place in Puyallup. Don't remember the name. I was there about 5 months, I think. I've been here for a year from Christmas Day. Christmas Day, I got off the airplane last year. So, time flies, whether you're having fun or whether you're just hanging out. And yeah, I got busy and then I kind of hurt myself, and those quilts are heavy. So I'm hoping, my wrist is seeming better as long as I don't strain it again. Like, just the sewing and moving that arm back and forth, just twisting my wrist and that, and then moving that quilt. As it gets bigger, it gets heavy. So anyway, no, I won't be doing this unless it's lucrative, because it does help to make some money if you make some money, not if you spend all your time and you hurt yourself. And anyway, you know what I'm saying. There's all this that goes into it. There has to be an end result. Or you're spinning your wheels and you're not making money, you're spending money. And you're wearing out your arm. Anyway, I have finished my daughter's quilt. I have it in a box wrapped up under the tree. I think if I was to do that style of quilt again, I would do bigger squares. I wouldn't do as little. These are 6.5 inch squares that I just got through doing. I believe Jessica's is too. I've got a whole bunch of 6-inch squares in the other room that I can put together too. So after I do what I'm doing, I will do other things like pillows, like covers for pillows. I do like the quilting look, but I'm not really great at it yet. And it takes the right machine. It takes the right, I want a 1/4 inch pressure foot. I saw a lady using one the other day. I remember that foot. But that way you can get pretty close. See, I'm gauging my seam by my pressure foot. And I believe it's making it to where I've got a 3/8 inch seam. And then the way the foot is, I can't really see it. Somebody was saying they had this big foot that they used, which allowed them to see where their stitches were going. Because I'm having a hard time with that. And especially, I have to wear my glasses for that. And I haven't been to the doctor. I'm going to lose that benefit. As of the first of the year, the insurance changes. And I didn't go in and get it done this year. So that's not too smart. And now my car's not working. Trying to figure out how to get the battery and the key fob, and then probably have to get a new battery for the car. And that battery's not that old. It's just, I think, in the past, what I've done is taken my battery to Walmart, and they would test it and put a charge on it. They put a charge on it to see if it actually is going to hold and stuff. They test the battery. And that battery is just a little over a year and a half old, because it was May of 24. And some batteries just aren't as good as others. Nevertheless, here I are. I'll bend over. I got to quit doing that. And I thought I would just do an update, but I don't have a lot of an update with the doctor's office. I did record my session, but she checked my medications, and my hot flashes haven't been so bad since winter time's hit. However, there's still a problem. So gabapentin is what I was taking before, and it was working. And so I've just been taking a 300 milligram of gabapentin before I go to bed. Kind of puts you to sleep anyway. It doesn't really put me to sleep, but I mean, if you take it during the day, you'll feel this drowsiness. That I don't want that. I want to be awake. But anyway, so I don't know what the point is. Oh, the point is I was taking a medicine that was geared specifically for hot flashes, but it was really expensive. And I don't remember the price. I didn't have to pay it. But I didn't want to get it in the first place, it's like all these other things, like the Jardiance, I think is probably expensive too. If your insurance covers it, great. But if it doesn't, then you got a problem. Anyway, I think my blood sugar is doing fairly well. She can't get a PET scan. The insurance won't let her get a PET scan every 3 months. So this time she's ordering a bone scan and it's 2 scans. I don't know what they're called. C scan probably, or CT. Some kind of scan, and it is to do with my bones. And also it should be to do with finding out if there's cancer activity, but I don't think they shoot sugar water in me, and they don't make me, with PET scan, you've got to go without food. You've got to have your blood sugar down to a certain level, and you have to go without food. And then they're going to introduce this radioactive sugar water into your stuff, into your vein, and it's going to go all through you. Then they can see stuff. So I hope that they find out something. Last time that we did this, they couldn't find out anything because they didn't have anything to compare it to. But so this one, they'll have that one to compare it to. And then the next one, see, about every 3 months is what we're doing. And so then the next one will be a PET scan. So for now, I'm done until January, which is really close, isn't it? Would that we could. Would that I could have a wonderful new year. And I will. Just would like that little kiss. Not a little kiss, a lot of kiss. So, we'll do without, we'll dream about it. Anyway, people, what I was doing earlier was putting sandwiches together. When I mean sandwiches, I was going to do all the same size, the quilt batting the same, but then I've seen all these different ways of quilting as you go. And so I've done 2 ways now, because I did the one that I showed you guys in the beginning with the bright colors. Well, actually, I did a mug rug one, and then I did a 6-inch square that was encased. All the squares were encased. I thought it looked really good. But to each their own. Some people might not believe that is really great. But I got some good compliments. I think my daughter says, well, it's different. So, like I said, to each their own. So anyway, I know I got my eyes, got my fingers in my eyes. So, a sandwich. You people out there that are quilting know what it is. You know, I'm going to make a quilt, and I'm going to do it as I go. And I am putting sandwiches together, which is the back, the front, and the middle, the batting. Now, listen, I just found out what some people are doing, and I'm going to try that in the future, but I've got what I've got going on, so that's just the way that is. But people are using just 2 layers. They've got a front and a back. Some are doing rag quilts, so that's all it is. One solid piece on the back, one solid piece on the front, and then they sew seams down it and cut it and rag it out. It looks pretty cool. They said that everybody goes for the rag quilt, so I don't know. All I know is I'll be trying a bunch of different kinds. So the first one, the mug rug one, I was making mug rugs, and I cut out a bunch. I was going to do a whole bunch of them, which is a small placemat. I mean, it's about 12 inches long, between 10 and 12 inches long, and about 6 or 7 inches high. Not very big. You put your coffee mug or your cup, your drink, whatever, in your sandwich. Why would you want to do that? Well, they're cute for one thing. Anyway, if you look in my videos and you see some bright colors that are quilts, go to the shorts. I have one that each block, we call it a block, is 7 inches by 12 inches. And that was those mug rugs. And then I decided, oh, I can connect these to each other. So I connected all the mug rugs. And then that made me bind it on the top, which encased the mug rug. Okay, each mug rug was going to have a binding all the way around it, and it was already on the material because I made it bigger than the front. So it would fold over. You would fold it in half and then fold it again and then top stitch it. Beautiful. So if you go into my things, if you haven't seen it, not all that long ago, you'll see some shorts or some videos with bright colors in their quilts. One is the mug rug quilt. That's the first one. It's elongated. And the second one, I did 6-inch squares with the same technique as to joining the squares with the backing. I made the backing 2 inches bigger than the top. And then you put the top smack in the middle, so you've got 1 inch all the way around that you're using to encase the square and to attach it to another square. But when you're done, it's quilted. I mean, each row, as you go, it is quilted. Then you just put a binding around it. And with the way I did it, the binding's already there. In other words, it's 1 inch all the way around, extra material on each of those blocks. And what makes that really neat is that you can add to it. Now, I can't add to it now because I have bound it. So it is done. But you could take that, and as long as you have not bound it, you can add to it, to the width and to the length. I made it's 49 inches by 72. I'm pretty sure, 6 feet. So 48, that's 4 feet. So it's 4 foot 1 inch by 6 feet. And it's nice. I really like it. But then I don't like stripes. So I didn't think I'd really like that. Anyway, so then I had a hankering to make one with squares. So that's what I did. The second one is bright colors. It's the same material and everything, but it's squares. And each square is encased just like a coaster, just like because I made some 6-inch coasters, which are bound because the back is 2 inches bigger than the front. And then it's got the quilt batting, the same size as the front. Well, this is different. Okay, so that was the second quilt. The third quilt is the one I just did for Jessie. It is totally different, and it does not have sashing. It doesn't have that casing. I didn't have to case each one. But I think it looks better with a bigger square than the 6.5. I would at least do an 8. Because the stitching that I did, I just didn't like how the back turned out. I didn't do very good. It's not going to fall apart. It's going to be comfy, cozy, and you're only going to see the front anyway. So it's perfectly fine. I told her it's not going to fall apart. Anyway, I would like the back to look better. It's not smooth, it's not smooth. And then my stitching is not straight. So I just don't think it turned out as good as I'd like it to. That's the deal. But still, I think it'll be comfy, cozy, and it'll be durable, and it's the colors she chose. And I don't know if I have enough for another quilt, but I have a bunch more of those colors already put together. They're put together as in stacks. There's stacks of them. All the way over there. So I don't know if I have enough to do a whole nother quilt. And what it is I was confused the other day. When I did that binding, I was way confused because I was doing feet and yards. And when you look at the yards, okay, each side was it 6 feet? We'll say each side was 6 feet, so that's 2 yards, okay? And then the front, the top, and the bottom was 48 inches, so that's not down to 36, but nevertheless, so I was trying to go all the way around the quilt and have about 10 inches extra, and I messed up my measurements, and I got a ton of that stuff. So, in one of these quilts that I'm going to do before long, I'll need a gray binding. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, but Shea Bear wants the back of hers black, the solid black. And I'm going to try a different style. It's still quilt as you go, and I'm going to still have to consult the tutorials. But you make your sandwich, and what they've done is they've made the batting not as wide. Let me show you. I'll show you one. It's not perfect either. And then they, like I said, they go by the 1/4 inch seam, the pressure foot. Okay, here's one of the squares. It's going to be for a Shea Bear. The back is black. And in the middle of this sandwich, in my other things that I did, the batting would be the same size as. Okay, now still I'm going to have a problem, but I tried to make it to where I could really see. In other words, you don't really want to go through the quilt batting when you're putting the seams together, but it's not detrimental. And if I had that 1/4 inch pressure foot, it would probably do better. But so this is the inside of that sandwich, okay? So what I'm gonna do with this one, what I have in my mind to do with this one is, the way this is, you'll add the top piece. The black is the back piece. You'll add the top piece, and then you're gonna sew these together with that little bit of thing. So I'm going to put this back together. Here's the top. Okay, so what I've been doing is putting these little sandwiches together for my granddaughter's quilt. And I am going to keep it simple, I think. I don't know, because I do like the tic-tac-toe. This will be a lot straighter. I had a heck of a time with the way that I copied a lady, okay? I copied what she did. And what she did looked really good, but she took the time and used a ruler, and she had it all taped up and everything. In other words, right where to go, so everything was cool. You know, it moves faster that way. I'm not saying my words very good, but like her ruler, where she wanted to go to a certain part and then cut, she had taped it. And then also, I believe, I'm not sure if it was the same person, but she taped a line. Like, I could do that. I need a 1/4 inch seam, and with my pressure foot that I'm using, I'm pretty sure I'm getting a 3/8 inch seam. Which I kind of like the 3/8 inch seam, but it throws everything off a little bit. But it still works. So anyway, what's going to happen is I'm going to either sew an X. That'll be the quilting, just to hold it together, okay? Or I can do a tic-tac-toe, 2 lines down and 2 lines over, and I think it looks good. And the ones I was doing, they turned out good. But the technique that I was using for my daughters, she did the 2 lines, and then when she put the backing on, she went down the other way and did the other 2 lines. Well, when I did that, it just the material kind of roly-polied in some places. So I might try to do her a better quilt later. You know, but I still think that's going to be really nice. She just wanted it that size. See, that's not really a throw size. 48 inches, which is 4 feet. 4 feet by 6 feet is what she's got. And I'm thinking that that's a good size to throw over the top of a twin bed. But I'm thinking I should probably go a little bit wider. Like, I'm making this for my granddaughter. And her room doesn't have the same heating system. She's got pipes in the floor. So the air in the room is cold. And her windows, she needs curtains over those windows. Thermal curtains. I want to get her some curtains. But anyway, the point is, let me take these two things together and see if I can show you. Here's another square. So I have not sewn them together yet, whether it be an X or a tic-tac-toe, or I did a squirrely one once, but I don't have the quilting machine, okay? So right now, what I would do is I would have these are part of her colors she chose, but I would take and draw it in together. I put the backs together. You put the backs together, sew your line, and then you're going to pull it out. You know, so then that'll be joined, and the back will be joined. It'll look really good, but what's going to happen is I'm going to make a 3/8 inch seam, pulling the backs together, and then you fold that out, fold the seam out flat, and iron it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to end up making a sashing, which really what I saw is pretty easy. You have a 2-inch strip, and you fold it in halfway on each side, so you're going to end up making an inch. So you got your 2-inch strip, okay? You fold it in half and you get a crease. That's the middle part. So what am I trying to say? You have your crease, and then you fold the other end into it to the crease. And you would press that, because what you're going to do is you're going to press that in and press the other side in, and that 2-inch piece is going to become 1 inch. And then you're supposed to take, okay, you've got your squares put together. No, they're not going to both be white. That just is what I have in front of me. And I took the other ones in the other room. So her fabric, there's one down there. She's got some Neato fabric. This is one of them. It's like paisleys and stuff. Okay, but see, then there's the back is black. So I'll just take this with a white one. So here you have these two, if they're next to each other. But you're going to bring in the back, the black. See, now if you had a front and a back to your material, which this green one is, nevertheless, you're going to put it together and you're going to just have a seam. Just a little seam that goes down here. 1/4 inch seam would be great. But then you're going to open it up. I don't have my pins in here. You're going to open it up. These two will be next to each other. And then the back will be next to each other, but it'll be black. And then the front, when you get the seam put together and pressed out, you're going to take your ruler, and right from the middle of that seam, you're going to measure out a 1/2 inch on both sides and make a line. I haven't got one of those pins yet, but you can get a pin. What's that? It feels weird. My eyes aren't so good. See, I found material. Fuzzy wuzzies in my thigh. Nevertheless, it's going to be neato, but it's still going to have sashing. And I've got to go get some glue. There's some type of a sewing glue, but it seemed to me someone said you could even use the Elmer's glue. You get the seam together, you get it pressed really good, you know, with some steam probably. Get that seam nice and flat and wide open, and then do your measurements for your line. And then you make your sashing, and you're going to put it right across that, and you're going to sew on either side of that inch, okay? And that's going to be, the seam is already put, the material's already put together. You're just covering up that seam, and it's going to join to the material on both sides. So I think it's going to be nifty. And yes, I still have to go back and look at videos to make sure I'm doing it right. But this is one of her materials. And then the white. And then I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do a black on black so that there's a black front in her quilt. She's going to have black and gray and then 3 prints. And unless something changes, that's what I was told anyway. She wanted black and gray. I think it's going to be beautiful. And the back is going to be solid black, and so I don't know. My eyes are having a hard time seeing black on black. Color, the same color to the same color, I can't differentiate. But anyway. Merry Christmas to you. No, we're not going to say that. But most of us probably do. You live in a zoo. Depends on how much you got going on in your household. You know, if you have a house full of children, and they all got to go here, there, and everywhere at the same time. They got to play on the same night, or they got this or that or the other thing conflicting going on as they're going through school. And the parents are running here and there. Jessie had her kids in football. And I don't know what other kinds of ball, but, you know, probably a few different things. But it was good for them. I never liked the football thing, and I didn't want them to get hurt. You know, that's the mother's deal, but it's true. Sometimes then people, them football players, have injuries that follow them their whole life, which means it hurts. It's not something that just happened and went away. So you need to be careful out there. I just don't, it's not my deal. Got hair in my mouth, so I gotta move that. Excuse me, goodness gracious, Charlie Brown. I don't remember the Charlie Brown Christmas, but I'm sure we watched it. So I've got another stack in the other room that I already made. And this is another stack. I'm just making them where I can grab them off of each other without having to fight for it. I should put that on the bottom with the other ones, the paisley ones. Okay, that goes right there. Okay. So I'm going to do black on black and gray on black. I had forgot about that. So I hope that I have the right size. But the point was, I'm making weird squares. And I'm trying a different type of quilt as you go. Because it was hurting my fingers. A long time ago, I used to macrame and tie knots. And I would use that jute stuff, and it was rope with fibers, and my knuckles hurt, and anyway, I pulled the skin off of my fingers, pulling knots tight. I did. I went crazy. Got a little bit obsessed. I had wanted to learn how to macrame for a long time. I'm just going to put these on so I can see what I'm doing. I've been trying to trim up my quilt batting as I go because with my pressure foot, I need a bigger thing. And I had made these squares, I believe, for the 6-inch squares that I've got. But I'm just going to make them work for this. And I hope that I find a good method. And when I'm not in a hurry, I'm going to try some of those crazy ones. What do you mean by that? They're using their scraps and just sewing them in different ways. And they are like crazy. And a long time ago, I had my own version of crazy. Okay, so that one is done waiting. What should I do? We have white and we have green. Oh, this is one of hers also. So that goes with the white and the black. I think that's going to be really nice. So I'll do another one of those because before I'm done, I'm going to have a bunch. But what I am doing is just going to be sewing. I mean, it really is pretty flat. It's just by the time you sew this seam to the other seam, it gets to be thick, especially if there's batting in the way. So I'm hoping, I don't know. Excuse me. That's what happens, you know. I'm going to have to open the window. Let myself have some cool air in here. So yeah, I don't know if it's hot flashes because part of it, you know, when I lived with Dad, I was in an oven. You know, but nobody felt what I felt, so he didn't care. He was cold. And guess why he was cold? Sitting in a recliner right in front of a big frickin' picture window. There should have been a big old quilt over that window. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But see, trying to keep him warm meant the whole house was a sauna. Menopause, hot flashes, cancer treatments that put you even worse because they're taking your hormones away. And so that's what I got going on right now. I've been just turning the furnace off. There's a thermostat downstairs, and there's one here, and I don't know if there's one upstairs, but I just been turning the one up here off because I figure when Shea Bear's not here, I didn't realize her room didn't have a radiator in it, but the other two are way more than warm. Trying to get her room warm. So I'm going to make it my business to get curtains to those windows that are thermal. And Diego said he's got some of those radiator type heaters at his other house. I mean, his house. This is Jessie's place, but she's renting, and he's here. He's here, so this is, you know, their abode. But anyway, it just would help with the heating bill. That oil, they go through a bunch of it, so there's no sense running that heater. So anyway, I could never figure out how to set the thermostat, so I just started turning it off. There's a switch. You turn it on for heat, turn it to the middle for off. So that's what I've been doing. And at night when I go to bed, I got a blanket. I would rather not have the heat on. But the week that she's here, I will have to deal. And I mean, it's okay. I just have to figure it out. So like in the morning, she's gone. the minute I'm up, I could go turn it off so I wouldn't have to be dealing with it. So I have a stack of batting over here and a stack of material that's cut already. So I'm putting my little sandwiches together so that I can go and do the sewing. I'm going to go in and either sew an X. I mean, the X would be the most simple. But with this type of quilt, I think it'll be pretty. I can go ahead and do the tic-tac-toe. They don't have to match all the way across. My squares are not going to match the other squares. Anyway, we shall see. I'm learning. Da-dum, da-dum. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. This material. I like it. So, there's even the front and the back. You don't have to do squares at all. You could do a front and a back and do the rag thing. Or what? I tell you, it did help. I had a quilt that I was working on, so I had it laying on the bed, so I just had rolled it over where I wasn't. And then in the middle of the night, I got cold, and so I just rolled that quilt on top of me, too. And it was nice and cozy. And it's only like a thin layer of batting, but it is, too, also layers of material. Okay, let's see what we got here. Wow, that one is just like right on the money. So we'll use it. I won't have to trim it. Anyway, I got a bolt of batting the other day. I went ahead and ordered it because I knew I was going to need it. So I'm just trying to figure out, do I do the quilt as you go, or do we do... I could do the quilt top and then add the batting and then add the backing. I'm just not really wanting to do that. Not knowing how to do that either, as far as that goes. Okay, let's see. I'll put it that away. I'm really having a hard time seeing the difference between the two. I'm trying to pull one apart. Uh-oh, what did I do? What did I do? So it was hurting my, after the thing with the sewing machine when it got jammed up and I was trying so hard to twist that thing around and I hurt myself. So then it hurts to do that binding. But if I wasn't doing it, first of all, if I didn't have the problem, and second, if I wasn't trying to get things done, doing so much, when you do so much and you haven't been doing, it's kind of like tackling exercise and you're not ready. I don't know how to explain it very well, but you work up in your exercise, you work up to what you can do. And my wrist had been hurt. And it was over that, but then I've been using it a lot. So it hurts. Okay, let's just add. Well, Jessica and I started watching murders in the building, I think is what it is. We watched a few different episodes. A few episodes, but then we had to stop. Anyway, enjoyed it. I think we both enjoyed it. So that was cool. All right, so maybe I'll go ahead and do some gray ones. So what I'm doing is putting sandwiches together. Then I'm going to go in there. I know I've already told you. I'm going to go in there and just basically I'm going to attach all 3 layers. Okay, we're going to attach all 3 layers, leaving the sides you're just attaching in the middle so that you can work with the sides, and then you're going to pull the sides together and sew them, and then you're going to press that seam open, and then before you're done you're going to put a sashing there, but it's still going to be quilted as you go. And I think you need to do the sashing as you go too, because it's hard to maneuver a heavy quilt. So you take care of all that sashing along the way. Okay, it's going to be good enough. I really like that. It's going to be pretty. And Jessie's was pretty too. It's just not my taste. But the world would be boring if everybody had the same taste. Or maybe it would be beautiful. It's all a matter of opinion. Okay. That'll work right there. So once I get the material all attached to itself, they call that quilting, then I'll be sewing seams together. The side seams and folding them in, making rows and then attaching rows, and then doing a binding. I really messed up on figuring the measurements of my binding, people. I was counting feet, but the strips I cut were yards, okay, over yards. So I just figured too many. I got a whole big old roll still of binding, which would look good on this. Even with the back being black, the binding being gray would still look good. But I want to hide my stitches too. You know, black stitches on top of black material, you won't see all the mistakes. The roly-polies. So anyway, that show is Steve Martin. I think his name is Marty Short. I don't know what his name is, so please excuse me. It might be Martin Short. I've seen him in things, but I don't concentrate on all that. I hope this goes together quick. I figure I should at least get hers done, especially her in that cold room. Make no mistake, people. Cold comes through those windows. I mean, maybe you might be lucky enough to have all those nice new windows that, are triple paned or something, where the cold doesn't get in. Yeah. Da-da-da. Do-do-do-do. You're so... You're not that far away, tell you the truth. But you just as well be. just as well be a million miles away. Because I'm not going over there. I wonder if I could make a whole nother quilt out of the leftovers from Jesse's. Because I just went ahead and made a whole bunch, just like I'm doing right now, a whole bunch of squares. But I figure I will put these things to use. Whatever's left over, I will still use. And seriously, I was thinking about a pillow. Not really a pillow sham, but kind of. You know, pillows for the bed. And on Black Friday, they had a really good deal. I mean, it was over $100 off. And I need good pillows. Right now I'm using Jesse's. But I had also thought about taking the pillows and using them to make the, you know, the size for the pillow. It'd have to be one that was just dressed in the bed. You know, being all pretty. But even out of like these quilts, if there's things left over, I could make a pillow to match the quilt. I just have to get the, maybe I'll go ahead and do a gray. Get the stress out so I have time. You know, that way it doesn't mess with my mind. Okay, so we're gonna do a gray. Okay. And hers, the whole back is going to be black, so there won't be any squares changing colors and stuff. Ta-da! I think that's just one. Yeah, gray will go real good with that. Excuse me. I can't drink pop without burping. Okay. I've just seen a few different tutorials, and so I'm getting my little head confused. That's what I want to do. But I do know that I still think quilting as you go seems to be the thing to do. I just am not sure. Okay. Oh, my back. I think I'm doing pretty good, people, but we don't know. But they did draw my blood, and so I might know tomorrow. If not, she said Monday. They did. She drew the blood for the tumor markers. We want to know what we're looking at. Last time I had them done, I had 162 and 170. Which really is pretty good compared to where I was a year ago or a year and a half ago. Yeah. Okay, so I have a black with batting. I'm going to put another gray out here. So for, you know what, I want to iron that. I got some new material today. That needs to be ironed too. So the future is coming and things are gonna change. Butterflies. I still gotta wash it. Let's see, is that upside down? Probably does not matter which way you look at it, but they're butterflies and flowers and green leaves. And I'm thinking, I don't know if she'd like it, but it seems like that would go on Carly's. Pretty good. And it's got purple and yellow, in other words, butterflies, white, red. It's really just beautiful. But I've got to wash it and then iron it. And then just put it in a drawer till I know what I'm doing with it. So for if it was me. And another thing I thought about was the coasters. That was what I was thinking when I got the butterflies. I thought, oh, why didn't I look for butterflies? So anyway, I think I need to iron this one, the gray. So yeah, I've been away from sewing for a long time. But I guess I'll make up for it, right? Do 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 do. Hey, hey. Hopefully I'll get something done. The time is here. Christmas toys all over the place. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo's got a smile upon his face. Da-dum, da-da-dee-dee, doo-doo-dee. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night. I swear I can't tell. It feels like it's just one. Okay, we'll just see. She didn't hear me creep down the stairs to have a peek. She thought that I was upstairs in my bedroom fast asleep. Oh, I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath that beard so snowy white. What a laugh it would have been. I don't know if that's what that says. If Daddy had only seen Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night. Why is that wrinkled? I don't like that. Do 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 da dum da dum do do do. All right, we got a problem here, right here in Memphis City. it came from. But anyway, okay. So, my grays, when I washed them, they got all wrinkled. And I didn't get all the wrinkles out. Oh, Selena Gomez, is that her name? Anyway, she's in that show with Steve Martin and Marty Short. It was pretty good so far. Yeah, I need to go see the eye doctor. Get the right glasses. Took me a second to get used to these scissors that I ordered. They're spring assisted, but they still won't cut at certain places, but maybe they'll just get better and better with time. Anyway, what I was wanting to do in the very first place was I wanted to make some drawstring bags. So I saw a video for that today that looked pretty easy. And I swear these people have these thoughts in their head just like mine. Because she made something today and then she says, well, you can just use that for, make it strong enough so it stands up by itself. And then use it for a little garbage can for your thread. Like all this stuff that I keep pulling apart over here. I've been sticking it in a bag. Because someone said, don't throw that away. Because, like, if you were to make a stuffed toy, a stuffed doll, or a stuffed animal, you could use that for the stuffing. What I am going to do is I'm going to get Shea Bear's quilt done. The other ones are going to have to wait. I mean, I want to get them all done, but it's not... I don't want to have to be pressured, stressed. Just get something else and enjoy Christmas, you know what I mean? And let's see. So what was I talking about? Here's Shea Bear's quilt done. And Jessie's got hers done. And really, if I might make her another one. I'm just not happy with the back of it, but I'm happy with the quilt, okay? The quilt's going to be nice and warm and stable. It'll be around for years, unless someone throws it away. But surely they won't do that. And I don't know. I don't know that I have enough squares left to do her another one, because I thought about that. I just don't. Excuse me, I don't like that design. How it's put together. What is this? I'll just take that. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be very nice. And yes, I should make some more gray. Okay. Whoops. Okay, it'll work. It'll work. Do 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 do. Hey, hey, you're so far away. Far away. You know, we take things for granted. Being able to talk on these gadgets. I mean, my daughter knew about all that years ago. I didn't. I'm not sure how long I've had a cell phone. She gave me my first one, and she was so happy. There's something wrong with my head. She was happy so that the world was opened up to me. You know what I mean? I had no idea. Even just like being able to listen to the prophet or listen to other things. I think this is too little. Okay, I'll take some from over there. Let's see what we got here. I don't know what I was talking about. Got distracted with my square not being big enough, my piece of material. But we'd be doing good. And as far as my doctor's appointment goes, what I was saying earlier, I really don't know. I think for the most part, everything's groovy grapes. I feel good. I had pain a little bit last month, but not a lot. And then I've been sick, you know, my daughter was sick, and then her boyfriend, and then me. But I fared well, because she checked my lungs. She said my lungs were clear. So that's pretty neato. And then what? My blood pressure was 144 over something. I don't know what it was. Probably around 80. But last time I went in there, they were saying that my kidney function was doing good and better than it had been in a long time. So that was neat, which I have a feeling has to do with the Jardians. They changed my medication. And then she upped it. She changed my medication. So I wanted to get off of metformin. Then she upped. What did she up? Oh, my primary care person upped the dose. Finish cutting this. The first time she gave me Jardiance, it was a 10, and I assumed that's a milligram. And then she gave me 25 milligrams. Yeah, I'm gonna not worry about having 100% cotton. Batting, I think that maybe 80-20 will be fine. Maybe. I'll look into it. Because my part of thinking was that it's fire retardant, you know, like polyester will melt, which could help fuel a fire. I don't know. Okay, there. It's going to be nice. I was trying to figure out earlier, and then I forgot that I was doing that. I need to figure out how many squares that I'm going to need. Didn't seem like it took a whole heck of a lot of squares. Jesse's is 48 inches across, so that was 8 squares across. And then 72, I guess would be 12 squares. 8 by 12. So an 8 by 12. 8 squares times 12 squares will give me my amount of squares. 8 times 12. What will that be? I don't know where my other... There it is. Oh. Don't tell me. No, it does not say it was delivered. Okay. Arrives tomorrow by 8 p.m. That's the henna. And that henna is going to go beautiful with this too. This is gorgeous. Of course, that's not for a guy, right? Depends on if a guy likes that kind of stuff. My Jessie didn't think that Kevin would like flowers, but he told her he would. So that was exciting. She's going, he don't want no flowers. I said, well, I think guys like flowers too. Okay, so anyway, I had 2 different types of flowers in those materials. One was roses, and then one was some abstract looking thing. Anyway, I don't know how many squares I'll need. 8 times 12. 8 times 10 is 80. So probably 100. That's what I was going to do. Where did I put it already? Put it back over there. Okay. Do 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 do. $96. So I need 96 sandwiches, which means 96 fronts, 96 middles, and 96 backs. And I'm certainly nowhere near close to 96. I got a lot to do. Oh, just seemed like Jessie's worked up really fast. She was the same dimensions, 48 by 72. I've got more black that I can use. And I do want to put some black on black. I want some black on the front too. I want something good to eat. What could I eat? What time is it? 4:16. It's almost 4:20. Okay. I have to remember you guys are there. I probably should shut her down. It just makes time go by a lot nicer for me. Distract me from all this work. You wouldn't think it's work, but it is. Yaha, it is. Do 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 do. I wish we could get my car all settled down so I could just get in and go somewhere. You know, my daughter took off work today to get me to the doctor. But she does have my key fob. She's trying to figure out if she can get a battery changed in it. And then I guess I've got to have to try to figure out what the heck is the deal with my key fob. My daughter says she'd never seen anything like it where you've got to charge that baby. In other words, I have to put it on a damn charger. And then you forget. Now I don't know what it's doing, because I don't know if you have to reprogram it or what, if it just needs a new battery. But she told me that she didn't think that my key fob even had a battery. She opened it enough to see that there's a chip in there, but I really don't know. I would like to see black on the front. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a few black on blacks. Do, 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 do. I have a hard time seeing it. So I got to get to the doctor. So there's a black on black. I'm going to have to cut up some more black squares. I guess it's just one. It feels like more. Lots of babies coming into the world. I was telling Jessica, I says, did you know that Leah became a grandma the same time you did? I mean, within a short period of time. Could have been a couple of weeks, I don't know. All I know is they both got grandbabies. Now, Leah Rose is my cousin. But I think that was not a great grandbaby, but a grandbaby. So she got some kids. I don't know how many kids she's got, but she got a few. Boys. I don't know if she ever had a little girl, actually. But see, what happens is those of you who don't have little girls, when your little boys grow up, they bring you some little girls. They bring you girls for a little bit, and then they have little baby girls. So you still get to have your little girls. You just don't get to keep them all the time. There comes a time in life, you know, when, no, I don't want to be adopting a child at this age. Excuse me. Little kids, I love them, but they take a lot of energy. Every ounce you got, basically. When you're in a loving relationship with someone and you produce that child, that's where your energy comes from, taking care of them babies, because they're a part of you. Or if you're young enough that it's feasible that you could adopt. But no, not when you're at my age. That's just not feasible. And I have a feeling that this is, maybe it's okay. It's already been trimmed down. That's why I just didn't know. Now, with her, she's going to have 5. She'll have 5 colors, counting the black and the gray. She has 3 prints, and then she'll have 2 solids. And when I get all these squares put together where they're not going to come apart, then we'll start playing with them to see how they will disperse. I hope I have enough. I hope I don't have to go get more. But I do have some I can work with. I can do sections. Okay, there. that's solid, one piece. It just seems like it should be two, but I can't. I can't seem to separate it, so. It's nice, thick material. That's the deal. It's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah. If I put 2 of each in a row, she got 5 pieces. In other words, if I do 8 squares across, how much will that be? Eight squares across would probably be, well, 8 squares across is 4 feet. So if I did 10 squares, is what I was trying to say. 10 squares would be 60 inches, 5 feet. And really, for Shea Bear, if she used it just on her bed, 5 feet would probably be good. I wish these weren't so heavy. I don't know what they would cost to ship. Have to find out. I've been so disappointed with the post office in the past, sending things with them. Depending on who works for them, they can be rude. Okay. Well, maybe I'll do another black. I need black on black and gray on black. And she's got a white that's got a print. It's basically white, but it's got a little flower print on it. It's going to be nice. Just have to make sure. My drink is gone. My time is gone. I know I've wasted you guys' time. You guys take care. And I'll be back and give you a progress update. And I don't know. She did tell me that she would call me and let me know what my markers are. But it could be tomorrow or Monday before I know. So, you people out there, be careful. The weekend is almost here. I imagine there's a lot of Christmas parties going on. Not sure exactly when Christmas is, but I think it's next week. I think it is. It's probably next Thursday. Wow. So I better get busy, huh? Anyway, you guys take care. Love ya. Sing some Christmas carols and watch some Christmas movies, some happy ones. Happy, happy, happy. You know, I guess sometimes they have to go through all the bad to get to the happy, right? Like It's a Wonderful Life. And I don't know that I ever watched The Christmas Story, or I don't know what it's called. She says they play it all day on one of the channels on Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life on one, and something about a Christmas story on another one. I'll have to watch them. But I don't like to be sad. I like to be happy, happy. Not that we can all be happy, but we can try, right? We can try, and I'm going to do my best, and the Lord will do the rest. That's what my papa always said. I have to remember that. Do your best and don't give up. Peace out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Don't be afraid to use Jesus Christ's name, for heaven's sakes. Just don't use it for swearing. Yeshua, or something like that, is what that guy was trying to make me say. Trying to take my freedom to call Jesus away. I said, no, you call him what you want, and I'll call him what I want. It's the same person. Doesn't matter. He knows who he is. He's the higher power, right? So afraid to say God or Jesus in a good way. I don't believe in him. I'm an atheist, but yet you're sure using his name in vain, aren't you? You know what I'm saying. God and Jesus, first of all, deserve your respect. But second of all, they're too busy to worry about you calling on them if you're not actually praying or talking about them. But no, to say, God damn it, that's not your right to do. Does it make you feel good? It didn't make me feel good just now. But the point is, you don't use his name in vain or in that manner. No, he's there for you. Pray to him. Pray to your Father in heaven. Thank him for your blessings. And then ask him for your needs. Your needs. And then, most important too, maybe not most important, but pretty important, you close your prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Pretty important steps. So, don't forget, say your prayers. Be kind to one another, even when it hurts sometimes. We gotta remember that. Have to try to forgive people because they don't know. They just don't know. Forgiveness. I have to work on that. Anyway, you guys take care. Love ya.